Raptor fans? It's me again, A-Dubs, and we are still on a roll. The Raptors played the Pacers today, and they won the game. If you're catching this for the first time and you want to see me again, please do follow or subscribe on whichever platform you're watching on. Happen to like what I'm talking about, please do light up the like button. They won the game 97-95 in a little bit of a nail-biter. Now, you might call this a rivalry game, but the Pacers are one of the teams in the East that are a bit shorthanded because of a major injury. Tyrese Halliburton is sitting out for the season already since the end of last season in the playoffs. He's a major part of their team, so we weren't really expecting much of a fight, but the Indiana Pacers ended up giving us a fight. It was a pretty entertaining game. Of course, we came out on top, but there weren't exactly any standout performances, just pretty good ones from our guys, and I'll go through them. So we're going to get into the matchups as usual. We're going to do the main three matchups, all of the stars that we could round up together. We're going to do Manuel Quickley versus Andrew Nembhard. We're going to do Brandon Ingram versus Benedict Mathurin. And last but not least, we're going to do Scottie Barnes versus our championship alumni, Pascal Siakam. With no further ado, let's get straight into the matchups. I have a lot to say about this game afterwards, but you know how we do. We're going to go through the numbers first. So Quickley had a bad shooting night. He hit 6 of 19 shots for 15 points, only 1 of 7 3-pointers, 5 rebounds, 2 stocks, an assist to turnover ratio of 6-1, and a plus-minus of +7. He was really struggling with his 3-point shot tonight, 6 of 19. He shot a paltry 14% from the 3-point line. So unfortunate bad performance. The shots were valid to be taken. They were open shots. He just wasn't hitting them, from 3-pointers down to a few floaters in the clutch moments of the game. Luckily, his teammates rallied and made up for that. Moving on to Andrew Nembhard, who hit 2 of 10 shots for 9 points, 1 of 5 3-pointers. He also had 4 rebounds, 2 stocks, an assist to turnover ratio of 2. He had 4 assists and 2 turnovers. Based on those stats in the 35 minutes he played, that plus-minus of -20 is crazy in my opinion. I mean, I get the minutes, but what were you doing when you were on the court? No offense, Andrew Nembhard's a Canadian native. I'm not trying to diss him or anything, but you hope to be a bit more impactful in that amount of time on the court. I'm giving this to Emmanuel Quickley. He didn't shoot very well, but Nembhard shot worse. He didn't score too much, but Nembhard scored less. They both had 2 stocks. Quickley, as usual, with the nice assist to turnover ratio and the nice plus-minus. Moving on to the next matchup here. So let's get into Brandon Ingram versus Ben Mathurin. Starting with BI, as they call him now on the Raptors. Ingram hit 11 of 23 shots for 26 points on 47.8% shooting. He hit 1 3-pointer and had 8 rebounds. He had 3 stocks, which I believe were 2 steals and 1 block. And he had an assist to turnover ratio of a terrible one tonight of no assists and 3 turnovers. But he did his damage on the offensive end of the court in the form of scoring baskets. It didn't really hurt us tonight. He ended up with a plus-minus of +12. And then this was a close game, so that assist to turnover ratio does kind of depict that. Usually when a lot of our starters have a good assist to turnover ratio, we win the game pretty handily, but this was a close one. We only won by 2. Let's move on to Ben Mathurin's stats. Ben Mathurin hit 5 of 15 shots for 15 points on 33% shooting. He hit 4 3-pointers, which I guess that's most of his shots. 4 or 5 of his shots were 3-pointers, and he had 3 rebounds, 1 stock, which was a steal. His assist to turnover ratio was also bad, but obviously not as bad as Brandon Ingram's. He did have 3 assists but 4 turnovers, so that pretty much canceled out Ingram's 3 turnovers. The -15 plus-minus is valid here, and the assist to turnover ratios, although they don't look like they match, sort of do in terms of the turnover side. I'm gonna give this matchup to Brandon Ingram. Another win for the Raptors. So let's move on to the next matchup. Scottie Barnes versus Pascal Siakam, our old homie and championship alumni. So starting with Scottie Barnes, he hit 5 of 12 shots for 24 points. And that sounds strange, doesn't it? Because how does 5 shots equal 24 points if you don't score a lot of free throws, which Scottie Barnes did a lot of tonight? He hit 14 of 14 free throws, which to me is extremely impressive. Not only the getting to the basket, but the hitting all of your shots and punishing the other team. If they're going to foul you, hit them up at that free throw line. That's why they call it the free throw line. Those shots are free. So side note, excellent job from Scottie Barnes at the free throw line. He also had 10 rebounds, so that's a double-double, 24 and 10. He also had a double-double last night, almost a triple-double, not last night, the other night. 6 assists, which you do need a bit more to get a triple-double, but he did have a double-double plus those 6 assists, so that's pretty significant. Tonight it was a double-double plus 4 assists, but also 4 turnovers, so an assist to turnover ratio of 1. Don't want to gloss over the one stock he had, which was a pretty clutch block at the end of the game. I think against Siakam, I can't remember. Pretty significant play. Kudos to Scotty for that one clutch stock, which we probably really needed to win the game. His plus minus was just a +1. This was a close game. We only won by 2. So a plus minus of +1 is valid. And so we will move on to Pascal Siakam's numbers. I think since you can see them already, I think you know what I'm going to say. Scotty won this hands down already, but I'm going to go through the numbers anyway. So Siakam hit 5 of 10 shots for 11 points on 50% shooting. He also had 4 rebounds, 2 stocks, an assist to turnover ratio of 0.6, which as you can see is slightly worse than Scotty's, so they canceled each other out in that regard. His 2 stocks are steals, and his plus minus of -8 was from being on the court at times when, yes, Scotty was off, but our bench squad definitely threw a lot of the game on their shoulders. Jacoby Walter, a big shout out to him for a great performance. He got inserted into the starting lineup in the second half. Colin Murray Boyles started in place of RJ Barrett, who's still injured with a knee injury. I think there's been a report on it. I just haven't gotten details on it, but I will soon, and I'll comment on that soon. Gradey Dick had a fall this game. He was trying to make a backdoor play on a ball, and he just got nudged in the wrong way, and he landed pretty hard. He's looking pretty tough though these days. Dick's getting a little bigger, so he could probably handle smashing into the ground like that. So one thing that got us in trouble this game was missing our open shots. We missed a bunch of open shots at the beginning of the game. We missed a bunch of open shots at the end of the game. And Indiana's not a team that you can trifle with when it comes to close games. They don't have their star player, Tyrese Halliburton, at the moment, obviously. And he's the one known for hitting all the clutch shots, but the rest of them are known for keeping them in the game until that point. Now, I should mention they have a couple other injuries, including Aaron Naismith, who kept them in one of the playoff games last season by hitting 5 3-pointers in a row. I'm not sure if they were in a row, but they were in pretty close succession. The fact that, again, another team that's short is losing at our hands, we should definitely take it with a grain of salt and understand that a fully equipped, more polished team is going to pose a much bigger threat. We shouldn't take these games for granted. So hoping Gradey Dick is okay. He's one of the guys who was missing open shots early, and I can't really critique him because he did have the injury, but I personally just want him to keep doing what he has been doing because of the fact that there's nothing else going wrong, but the shots just aren't dropping, meaning that he's doing everything right. And once those shots start dropping, it may be the difference between the Raptors stopping in the second or third round or going beyond that. So shout out to Grady. Keep shooting, keep playing excellent defense, and doing everything else right. The shot's gonna come around for sure. I finally figured out who Jamal Shead reminds me of, and I don't mean that as any disrespect whatsoever. TJ McConnell was killing things down to game 7 in the NBA Finals last season, and he's a major reason why they stayed in the game tonight. Just like Jamal Shead has been one of the reasons why the Raptors have been closing out games in this last 9-game winning streak, and 13 out of the 14 last games that we have won. He didn't really perform too well tonight, and although it was a close game, a lot of the other players picked up slack where it needed to be. I'm calling out the refs again. They're reflexing a little bit too fast to make those out of bounds calls against the Raptors. Maybe it's not fouls tonight, but you guys find your ways. I get it. And calling offensive foul on Jamal Shead on Jay Huff in the middle of the key is nasty work. Congratulations, NBA refs. That was a good one. But this is the treatment that I'm glad the Raptors are getting now and not later in the season. These are the tests, and this is the treatment that I'm glad the Raptors are getting now, not discovering how rough and potentially unfair they can be. This is something that the Raptors weathered very well in the 2018-19 season. It was through a lot of wins as well. Pascal Siakam could be one to tell you. Mamukelashvili is still getting no respect. I don't understand how you can get smashed on 2 drives to the basket. No call, no acknowledgement from the refs, but it's obvious. It's on tape. Still no respect for Mamu. That's all right. I'm sure we'll learn how to handle that, but the man is taking a beating and not getting any calls. I want to acknowledge another good end to the first half. The Raptors went on a 12-0 run to take the lead by 1 point at the end of the first half, and it was pretty impressive. I really didn't expect it. I'm sure people were getting a little uneasy into the middle of the second quarter, but Raptors closed it out so well and definitely shut down any doubts I had, and I'm betting a lot of other people. In their last game against Cleveland, they went on a 13-2 run at the end of the second quarter. To have another 12-0 run, very similar to that, it seems like the Raptors are turning it up at certain moments of the game, and it's bearing pretty good results. Shout out to Brandon Ingram for being dangerous at the end of the game, playing like an all-star and proving he can put away games, and he has been doing that all season. But speaking of dangerous, having Indiana be so close to your score at the end of the game is really dangerous. The Raptors tended to handle it with poise and maturity once again. So proud of the Raptors, 9-game streak, 13 out of 14. Eastern Conference beware. The East is getting run through like a car wash on the first day of spring. Hopefully it continues. That's 9 in a row. That's a lot. I think only outdone this season by the Detroit Pistons, who are number 1 in the Eastern Conference. I'd like to see that matchup. Hopefully when we do play them, we can prove that we are the true Eastern Conference bullies. But for now, we got to play the Charlotte Hornets, and hopefully we can have a continuation to the victory streak that we're currently on right now. That'd make it 10 in a row. So far we got 9 and 13 of the last 14. If you're a Raptor fan right now, it's absolute bliss. Personally, I'm loving it. They have faced a lot of teams that for one reason or another aren't 100%. There are a lot of polished teams out there that will look a bit different. So let's stay ready for those teams. Anyways, Raptor fans, my name is A-Dubs. The Raptors are still winning. I'll see you after the Charlotte game. Like, follow, subscribe on whatever platform you're watching on. I'm on YouTube, TikTok, or Instagram. See you next time, and you have a good one. Peace out.